this month for you is about purification and going deep. So Gemini, right, we've got Jupiter going retrograde in your 6th house. So I really like this. Jupiter's making quite a few really nice aspects between, well, to the personal planets in your 10th house this month. But Jupiter retrograding in your 6th house is, you know, to me it's about purification. It is about your health. It is about your day-to-day habits, and I feel more than anything this is going to relate to a lot of you on a health level. And especially with Mars moving into that 8th house, along with Saturn and Pluto there, you are really, really being pushed and compelled to address what negative patterns you have, what compulsions that you drive you, that lead to results that aren't so desired. Where do you give your power away? What addictions do you have? You know, Jupiter is almost echoing the statement by being in that 6th house of health, day-to-day routine, those rituals, and it's the house of purification. It's really echoing this statement by really wanting you to be honest with yourself and go deep and get real about what is going on there. There's got to be a shift in perspective in terms of your relationship with your body or your relationship with your day-to-day experience. Jupiter in the 6th house is, you know, some people I think view the 6th house as being quite a boring house, but actually the 6th house is I find it very interesting, and it is a process of alchemy, this 6th house. Okay, it's the one just below the horizon before we then come up to the 7th, where we are far more visible. Now, Jupiter here can bring a lot of gifts through service to others. We find ourselves wanting to serve others. We find our best luck coming about through being of service to humanity in some sort of way. Now, by doing this, the funny thing is, or the ironic thing is, by being of service to humanity, when Jupiter is in our 6th house, we actually find that others start serving us. So it's almost like what you get out, you get what you put out, you get back, and Jupiter is the great benefic in that sense. Now, Jupiter's going to be going retrograde, so he's going to be looking at, and this is about service to yourself, how you set yourself up to empower yourself in terms of how you deal with your days, how you deal with your routines, what your health habits actually are. I feel like there are quite a few of you out there who have dynamics, whether it be physical or mental, so like psychological dynamics that haven't been serving you, that perhaps you haven't been wanting to look at. Now, Geminis, I love you guys. You're so inquisitive and witty, and I bounce off you. I'm a Sagittarius. I love being around Geminis. We can just talk all day. But the flip side with Gemini sometimes is you don't necessarily want to go deep. Not all, and it very much depends on your chart, okay, before you start hating on me. But there can be a tendency to be a jack of all trades and to not want to go deep, to not want to look deep. Well, you're being asked to now. Why? For your own benefit, so that you can reap the rewards and the blessings that Jupiter has to offer when he moves into Sagittarius. But right now you're being asked to look at, okay, what are my addictions? Where do I give my power away? Where do I not treat my body as well as I could? And Jupiter will allow you to see things from a much broader and higher perspective in an objective form. So you're not coming down on yourself and condemning yourself, but you're able to see the patterns, and you're able to understand them better, okay? Now, speaking of patterns, when we enter this month, on the 2nd, we have a full moon in your 4th house in Virgo. This full moon makes an earth trine between Saturn in your 8th house and not Taurus, and Pallas Athena in your 12th house, okay? So, I was speaking then about, what was I speaking about? I was speaking about where we give our power away and the patterns that we have. Pallas Athena is actually about patterns, and she's in your 12th house, okay, which is the house of self-undoing. So this trine between your 4th house, which is a very intimate house, the 8th house, which can be about addictions, the 12th, which can be about self-undoing, this trine there might bring something to light, might bring a realization of, okay, I see what I've been doing, I understand where I've been tripping myself up, or I understand how I've been allowing something to continue in my life that just doesn't serve me, and from this you can get a deep understanding and be able to, this could be the spark that then instigates that introspection into self when Jupiter goes retrograde, as to what you can do to better love yourself, as to how you can set yourself up to feel more supported, as to how you can avoid certain negative habits, be they, you know, to do with relationships or whatever. But we all have them, don't we? But there could be something that's triggered by this full moon, something that's brought to light, that comes to culmination, and it really was something where there was a blind spot within you, and you suddenly see it for what it really is, and you see the patterns that have been there. Okay, so I do like this. On the 6th, Mercury and Venus enter. Well, first of all, let's talk about the beginning of the month. The beginning of the month is great for you, Geminis, to keep moving forward with career. You have a lot of energy happening there in that 10th house, and you know, I like this for you. All the planets are going direct, so anything you have that you're pushing forward, that you want to present, the first week is a really great time to do that. After that, on the 8th is when Jupiter goes retrograde, and he will be retrograde until the 10th of July in Scorpio. The energy will start to move then into your 11th house of networking, long-term goals and dreams and wishes, peers, friends, the love you receive from others. Okay, so this is where the energy is going to start going. So this can see you networking, this can see you promoting your business, promoting yourself, and wanting to be a lot more sociable, where you've been very driven and focused on career. Now you want to be a bit more sociable, or you want to at least speak about the business and bring it out to numerous people through maybe social networking and through the internet and those kinds of things. There is a new moon that happens on the 17th in your 10th house, bringing fresh energy here, which I really like. Great time to be making affirmations. And the sun then, also I should mention, Mars enters Capricorn on the, when is it? On the 17th. So on the same day that there's a new moon in your 10th house, Mars then enters Capricorn. So, you know, this is what I was talking about. This is really going deep and really being bold enough to be honest with yourself and say, okay, because Saturn's here and Saturn wants you to get real, okay? And it won't do any good to try and avoid this. And Mars is going to add that drive to uncover. So where am I tripping myself up? What am I doing here? Mars is going to be there for a month and a half and will allow you to examine these things. So he's going to help with that Jupiter retrograde energy. He's going to help you be able to dig really deep in terms of, you know, why you have a certain relationship with your body, if you feel that you overeat, or if you feel you indulge too much in drugs or alcohol or smoking or whatever it is. He'll be able to help you go really deep, and it might be a good time to seek out a counsellor, or seek out a therapist, a hypnotherapist, anyone who can kind of assist you in getting to the root of matters and going deep with these matters. The sun enters Aries on the 20th, so then your energy, like I said, is going to be directed more towards networking, towards peers and friendships. And you're thinking as well about the big picture and wanting to align yourself with people who have the same visions that you do and who have the same kind of purposes that you do. On the 23rd is when Mercury, your ruling planet, then goes retrograde. So he's going to be retrograding from in your 11th house. So this could be that, you know, this has to do with communications and plans. Now, any plans that you had for perhaps expanding your business through social media might have to be rethought. They may have to be reworked. Anything to do with technology in your business, it would be a really good time to rework it, to rework your website, to rework your how you go about promoting your business or yourself. It's just Mercury retrograde is a really good time to make sure that to shore things up, to go over things again. Okay, so just be aware of that. Also be aware of the fact that, you know, communication with peers and with you know, through the internet and email and stuff like that, things might get lost, things might be delayed, you might think someone has read something that they haven't, so just be aware of that and double check these things. There is strong Piscean energy at the beginning of this month, which might make people a little bit dreamy and dazed and quite sensitive. So that is something that also I would just be aware of. You know, there could be a lot of emotional sensitivity, especially at that full moon at the beginning of the month. So go easy on yourself and go easy on others. Then we have our second full moon on the 31st, at the same time that Venus enters your 12th house. And this full moon is going to be in your 5th house of creativity and romance. Now, this full moon is squaring up to Saturn in your 8th house and opposing Mercury in your 11th house, and it's causing a T-square. So this just speaks to me of a sort of tension that may play out in your in a social situation somehow, or to do with romance. And it's more than likely that this tension, whether it's that you have a disagreement with somebody, or that you feel somebody has, I don't know, done you wrong or something like that, it's more than likely that the core of this, or what you end up feeling, actually is actually something that speaks to a past hurt within you. Because I'm looking at that 8th house now, and I'm just getting a sense that something might get triggered and might see you feeling hurt, upset or angered, and it happens in a social environment, social or romantic situation, and it reminds you of something. It might be subconscious, but it reminds you of something, or the way somebody once hurt you a long time ago. Now there's healing that can be done here, and with Cancer being the opposing sign to Capricorn, this tells me that if you allow yourself to sit with your emotions and be gentle with yourself, to self-parent, then there could be some opportunity to heal perhaps a wound that has long been there but hadn't been triggered for a while. So there's opportunity there in that sense. So all in all, this month, you know, the energies are changing. There isn't any, there are no eclipses, but now we're getting the retrogrades. Now, after having all this kind of fresh energy and having all of this, these new beginnings, we're being asked to integrate different aspects of ourselves and really you're being asked to go in deep about your values, about your psychology, how that affects how you relate to your body, how that affects how you show up at work, how that affects your day-to-day. Could you be showing up more powerfully on a day-to-day basis? Do you have habits or do you have impulses that affect how effective you, that negatively impact how effective you can be in the work that you do, in the service that you give, in the body that you're in? Do you know what I mean? So it's time to start looking at that. Thank you so much for watching, Virgo. Now onto your tarot reading.